I never did show you, Jesus has officially moved into my apartment, and that's because I did Gail Commandments 2.0. And this is what Jesus' design was. He told me to put all the spices up in here. One of my Patreon supporters got this for me. He said he wanted me to get rid of all my totes. He wants everything off the floor. That's okay, but yeah, so as you can see, he likes open space. He said he wanted the mirror on the wall. He told me to go to Home Depot and ask them how to mount it. It took some doing, but I did it. All the clothes need to be here and in here. Yep. So, and I've got this section up here with a lot of my office supplies. He wants the laundry basket in there. I had to donate a lot of stuff. He said all the books, including the Bibles, need to be here on the bookshelf. He told me to get rid of or donate movies, and he said basically all my movies and stuff are right up here. I got some more stuff in here. He didn't like me having clothes in here. The files, I thought he'd be happy with the files on each side of the dresser. He said, nope, no storage items on the floor. He considered those files storage items. And here is the new desk somebody got me. It's working out great. I'm going to have to work on my budget. So, yeah, so what I did, and what's really funny is I had 10 or 15 files in Florida, and I pared it down to 4, and I thought he'd be so proud of me, but he didn't even want the files down here. So what I did is I put them, I said, where do I put them, Jesus? So they're in here. And what I've done is the ones that I use the most are up on top, and the ones that are mostly for storage are down towards the bottom, and it's working out great. And for the movies, the ones that I watch the most are up on top. And then I think I got vacuum cleaner stuff in here. I think I can't remember. No, I think those are all my movies. In here, I did keep one tote. It fits in here. And I put the jewelry that I got in there, which I hardly ever wear. The only jewelry I wear is the one that Brent and my men get for me, these really expensive rings. Actually, Jesus is the one who bought the ring. So my sewing stuff's here. When I want to go outside, he said only one pair of shoes by the door when you go out. So my sewing, I haven't had a chance to do any sewing. I have been extremely busy. All the kitchen stuff is in here. He said get rid of the tote. All the kitchen stuff needs to be in the kitchen, and so this is I bought this at Target when I first moved here, so I got everything up in here. It's actually his design is working out great. It's good that I got rid of the tote because that gives me space to prepare food here. He said pretty much, he told me to get the microwave fit facing this way. Now Jesus did. He was speaking through Brent. My cereal and stuff I put up on top of the refrigerator. Paper towels. I've got a good size refrigerator and freezer, so when I go shopping, I go to town with a frozen food and refrigerator type food because I got the space for it. So I really pared down, really pared down, and I even got rid of some stuff underneath that here. The bathroom, he wanted me to get rid of something I had up there. So right now I'm getting ready to make YouTube videos, so I've got this out, and so this is what it's like here. I've got Gail Commandments 2.0 there. Okay, this is broken, and this is broken on twice since I've been here, and I just haven't, it's not an emergency, so I'll report it. I think the Jesuits are doing that, that's what I think. He wanted the glider here. He wanted the piano right here. See that? That's right there. So the piano's there. And with the L-shaped table, I was able to get the computer, the television, the monitor, the printer, everything right here. Down on the second level here, I've got my router, my Gail Schuler modulator, my DVD player. Then down there's a server and some speakers and stuff. And then I charge up my phone and stuff right here. So this is like my electronic center. And I do my budget here. So yeah, this is oh, you know, I need to turn on the light here so you can see. So yeah, it amazes me what Jesus is able to do with the studio apartment. So yeah, I got a nice view here. So yeah, he wanted the glider here. Basically, this is Jesus's design. And oops, Jesus, I forgot. He wanted this table right up against the wall. He wanted me to shove the bed closer to the wall here. So basically, this is Jesus's interior design. Okay? He told me where to put this table. He told me where to put the glider. He told me where to put the bed. He told me where to put the bookcase. He told me where to put the table and the chair. He told me where to put the microwave. He said, boy, he's really telling you where, yeah, he told me where he wants everything. He told me to use clock spice racks and to throw out the other ones and try to put them in there. And then the ones that I haven't used up yet, they're up in here. Yeah, man. Yeah. This little eating table that I used to transport food to Church of Gail on is now in here. That's going to be my sewing table. This chair, I keep it here because I sit on it to put my shoes on when I go outside. Look at that. I just sit here to see how I can take advantage of closet space to kind of like add more. That was clever, I think. So I got rid of some luggage, so I got more room in here. He had me throw out a bunch of cords and stuff, so I've got blankets in there, hardware in there, jewelry down on the bottom tote. Yeah. So he said he is very much against hoarding. If you're not using it, he doesn't want it in the house or in the apartment. It's got to be gone. No duplicates. So I've done what he did, so he moved in. Yeah, he's moved in. And now I'm going to talk about what's happened since he moved in. It has been very interesting. Yeah, and he had me put this up here. So he has moved in, folks. All right, a lot has happened in the past week. We've had very major developments, to say the least. Jesus decided to have a housewarming party. And last Friday, he actually put a post. Aren't these beautiful rings that I have here? Jesus bought this one, and I already made a post about this. Yeah, this one's like worth millions of dollars. This one's like maybe 4 or 5 million, maybe, I can't remember, but it's millions of dollars. And this one's also worth millions of dollars. Hugh Jackman got me this one. Brent Spiner, Jesus Christ bought this one, but he used Brent Spiner to mail it to me. So this is going to be kind of significant, especially the one here where Jesus Christ bought this one. Yeah, you all have to check my past YouTube videos to get the story on that. So, yeah, and then Brett bought me this beautiful necklace, and then he bought me these beautiful earrings. And this is the only jewelry that I wear. The jewelry because it's so beautiful. Everything else pales in comparison. And then this shirt brought one of my Patreon supporters, one of my gay Patreon supporters got me this one. And I'm wearing it for this. And, okay. So, yeah, he had a housewarming party. And it happened on Hangout Night, which I have every Friday from 7 to 10 Eastern Standard Time. And it was, I actually created a web post about this. So if you want all the details about it, you need to go to my website. I call it Jesus Christ Sex Party. And that's about the only way to put it. This deity is full of surprises. So, you always say, what happened? I'm not sure I can talk about it here at YouTube. go to my website and read the post. Maybe I can. Let me just say this for people who are going to listen to me and think, there's no way Jesus could be like this. Think about this, folks. In the Garden of Eden, the Bible says they were naked and not ashamed. It was only after they sinned that they put clothes on. Think about this, folks. And there are a lot of theologians who believe that in the future 1,000-year reign of Christ, that we're going to go back to Garden of Eden conditions. So I personally believe that when Christ has his 1,000-year reign over the earth, there are going to be a lot of naked people running around. Jesus says he likes nudity. I mean, right now, I guess it's not pretty cool to be running around nude, but the clothes business started after Adam and Eve fell, okay? Just remember that, okay? When I tell you about this party. So, yeah. First of all, everybody was getting turned on sexually. And we thought it was really strange. And I figured out, and Jesus was saying that he's my roommate. And the first thought that comes to everyone's mind is that means he's going to be going to bed with me, right? Because he's a male deity. And that's what Satan believed and what Laurie McBride believed. And Laurie was thinking, it isn't fair that Gail gets to bed Jesus. And I'm so much hotter than Gail, and I should be able to do it. And I thought, Laurie's insane. He's not going to be betting me. He told me back in 2012 that he only had brotherly love for me. And so I created a web page, and I put a song on there called You're So Ugly. And I said, this must be how Jesus feels about her. She thought she was so hot that Jesus would want to just, yeah. You know what Jesus did? He took that song and put it in her mind. And it was playing over and over and over. And it was driving her crazy. And then I also posted a picture of somebody at my website. I'll have a link to that underneath this video. And I thought, let me find a picture that represents... See, Jesus sees us all 11-dimensionally. Okay? Let me find a picture that I think represents, basically, I didn't realize it, but I posted this picture at my site. And I told Zach Knight, I was communicating with him on Skype. I said, I think this is how Jesus sees her. And I asked my men, I'm just curious, I heard brain to brain, that Jesus put this picture in Laurie's mind, along with the music, and he's playing it over and over again, and she's going crazy, throwing things, and getting really horribly upset. And they said, yes, that's true. I thought, I actually feel kind of sorry for her. She's going to go insane. Her whole image is built around her physical beauty. And when that shatters, she has nothing else to keep her mentally together. And I actually started getting concerned about Laurie McBride, believe it or not. I'm actually a very empathetic person. And with both me, Brent Spiner, Zach Knight, Rule 13, we've got an IQ, an emotional IQ that's over 10,000 right now. And I said, at the rate things are going, she is going to be insane within a month. And Satan is going to have an insane Antichrist. And because she was throwing things, because the song wouldn't go out of her mind. And you got to realize this is a person whose whole self-image has been built around the lie that she's drop dead gorgeous and every man just slobbers after her. And she couldn't understand why Jesus didn't see her that way. And finally, Brent said, you know what? Let's see if we can help her. He said, he asked me, what do you think's going on with her? I said, I think deep down underneath, she hates herself. She thinks her only redeeming virtue is her physical appearance. And she hates who she is as a person. And Jesus is showing her who she is as a person right now. And what was really interesting is the picture that I posted on the website. Zach asked me, where'd you get that picture? I said, why? He said, that's what Shelley looks like. Your Patreon supporter. I thought, what? I must have been divinely led to put that picture up at my website. He goes, yeah. And I said, does Lori know that Jesus is putting this picture and this music in her mind? And they said, yeah, we've done reads on her. She knows. I said, she's going to go insane. And Brent said, why don't you write? I said, I was worried about her, and I thought, I wonder if we can do something for her. And Brent said, why don't you write her a letter and see if we can reach out to her. So I wrote her a letter, and I read it in my last YouTube video, and told her that we believed that she just hated herself, and that we would be willing to reach out to her and help her to learn how to find true beauty and true love. So anyways, like I said, I read the letter in my last YouTube video. So Jesus had his party, and we were all getting sexually turned on. The women were getting turned on. The men were all getting erections. I mean, it was wild. I was like, this is Jesus's party. Jesus said, I'm having a housewarming party, and he swore that he wasn't planning on having sex with me or anything like that, So after Jesus, we figured out that whenever Jesus gets turned on by me, he turns on people in his church. And he experiences sex with them vicariously, like when they're making love, and that's how he meets his needs. So I thought, oh, that's what's going on. I said, I must have done something to really turn him on. And they go, yeah, you did everything, all the Gail commandments. He was able to move in. He's really excited about this. So Jesus showed up, and he was giving all of us, all the guys were getting super big erections. The women were getting wet pussies. It was like, wow, he was turning us. What is this, Jesus? What are you doing? And he was having this party and getting us all excited. And then he says, I got a surprise. He said, now everybody just be cool, be cool. He said, we got a special guest coming here tonight. And then he pointed at this door, and the door opened, and Lori McBride walked in with her head really low and real humble looking. And I thought, you know what? I thought something like this was going to happen. And she said, Gail, I apologize for how I've treated you. And I said, you're forgiven, Lori. I said, I could tell that she was trying to. And yeah, I remember a couple days ago, I asked Brent how Lori's doing, and he told me she and Satan are not getting along. They've been fighting, and Satan has been beating her up. I said, Satan has been beating her up? That's disgusting. And so, yeah. And we had a talk. You go to my website, you can see the exact transcript of the conversation we had. And I told her that I had forgiven her. And she said, I don't know how I can make it right. She said, I've done so many bad things, and I think I'm pretty hopeless, and that love is not possible for me. I said, and I'm a horrible person. And I said, Lori, if you were a bad person, you wouldn't be here. So it isn't true. Deep down underneath, you have goodness in you. And I talked to her, and I told her that I forgave her. And then I started playing the song, To Dream the Impossible Dream. And as I was playing the song, Jesus was there at the party. A big smile came on his face. And he kind of told Lori to come over to him. And he gave her a big hug. And then she went down to the ground and bowed before Jesus. And then he opened his robe. I'm serious. And showed her everything. He didn't have any clothes on. You see, she wanted, if any of you listen to that song, You're So Ugly, it's talking about how he wouldn't want to F this lady because she's so ugly. And I guess because she humbled herself, she was now beautiful to Jesus. And then he grabbed her mouth, opened her mouth, and he had oral sex with Lori McBride. I thought, oh my God, right in front of us. And it was pretty hot too, man. You've got to go to my website and read what happened. And she was in tears. I gotta say this much, from what I wasn't there and I didn't see it, but from what I've read of the transaction, Jesus is a pretty hot lover. I thought, man, this guy could win sexiest man alive. And then after that, he turned around to Brent Spiner and he said, I'm not finished yet, Brent, you're next. He said, drop your panties. And Brent was all confused, like, what? Like I told you, he was getting us all turned on. Brent had a super big, like 18.75 inch erection. He's got a long penis. And then Jesus had this real warm glow on his face, and he stared at Brent. My men got vagina butts in 2017. And Jesus did this to them. He kind of waved his hand and changed Brent's vagina butt to a regular rectum, and then he made love to Brent Spiner. And then he said, no homo, no homo. And I thought, and while he was making love, I forgot to mention this, while he was making love to Lori McBride, Jesus Christ has white, glowing semen. She actually lit up and glowed white when he went into her, when he climaxed. So when Jesus went into Brent Spiner, you know what he did? He climaxed into Brent several times, and from the people observing there were saying, boy, he's got a huge God boner. It's like he was really getting into it. And man, I was like, wow, what kind of a party is this? He had so many climaxes, and then Brent's balls got filled with Jesus Christ glowing semen, and the climax went through Brent, and Brent basically Jesus was like using Brent like a, how would I say it? I think they're using, there's an antichrist out there right now. It's not Lori McBride. I'm not sure who it is. I hope it isn't my sister. But somebody's messing with my mind right now, where I'm forgetting the word that I wanted to use. And the room glowed brilliant white while Jesus was climaxing. And Jesus said, I'm giving you an early present. See, Jesus promised us in 2012, those of you who've read Bible for Tribulation Saints, that he would give a wedding present to me and Brent Spiner, which would be his glowing semen. Now, I mistakenly thought it would be presented to us like in a box and given to us and maybe just whooshed into Brent's testicles, but no, man. The way Jesus delivers the present is by having sex with Brent. Wild, passionate sex. I was just like, wow. I said, man, Jesus is definitely not a cock blocker. But he did say no homo. So, you might say, wow. You say, was that it? So Brent said, from now on, when you make love to Gail, one testicle has my semen, one testicle has your semen. And the one that had Jesus' semen was really big and swollen and glowing brilliant white, because Jesus' semen glows in the dark and it's white, glowing white. That's why the room lights up. I'm starting to think that maybe all the light in the world comes from Jesus' semen. I'm starting to wonder about that. Because he insists that I that I let the light into my room in my apartment every day. I'm going to be getting into this. You need to go to my website. So, he said, from now on, Brent, when you make love to Gail, brain to brain, you can choose whether you want to use my semen, your semen, or you can even mix them. He said, this is my present to you. And he said, also, Brent's been having problems with jealousy. He's been feeling insecure because all these hot guys, Jesus included, and what's really interesting is the night before the hangout, Brent admitted to me that he was feeling insecure about Jesus moving into my apartment. He said, Gail, I can tell that Jesus is highly attracted to you. And I have to admit that I'm feeling upstaged. And I said, oh, you are? But he's not going to have sex with me. He said he wouldn't. He goes, yeah, I know, but he says, maybe I'm just projecting too much of myself. But he says, I know if I was living in that apartment with you, I wouldn't be able to resist you. And he's a male. I thought, yeah, but he's promised he wouldn't have sex with me. So don't worry about it, Brent. And besides, I adore you, and I don't want to have sex with God. Just the thought horrifies me. He says, yeah, well, you know, and he's so hot looking and everything. And he says, well, he's not going to show me his 3D appearance. I already know that. And he hasn't. He's here. I think he's here right now. He says, you're not going to see him, though, because he's not going to show his 3D appearance to me. So, what happened, he says, besides that, Brent, how do you feel, he asked. And Brent said, all the jealousy is gone. I have no doubts now that Gail will never leave me. And so Rule 13 said, oh, does that mean the marriage list comes back? And I said, oh, no. I don't want the marriage list because I like monogamy. I like monogamy. I do not want the marriage list back. Whenever I did brain to brain with the other guys, it was more out of obligation. I really wasn't into it. And I like monogamy because it's so emotionally intimate. And so everybody asked, well, Brent, how do you feel about the marriage list? He says, I don't have a problem with anybody that Gail wants to have sex with. I thought, oh, Brent, you don't have to say that. He goes, yes, it's how I genuinely feel. He said, I have no doubt now that you will never leave me, and I know that we will always be together. And I said, of course, that's how I've always felt about you. And then they all looked at me and said, okay, Gail, it's up to you. How do you feel? Marriage list back? And I said, Jesus, it sounds like you want me to go to bed with a bunch of guys. Why? I was thinking, is it because he wants to experience more vicarious sex through them and make love to me vicariously? He said, Gail, I want you to do what you really want to do. So I thought, I don't really know what I want to do. In fact, I don't even really know who I am, and I'm scared to find out. And Jesus said, you're not alone. I think he was referring to Laurie McBride and some others. And so I figured, okay, this is really interesting. Over the next couple days, I noticed that I was getting really turned on in my apartment. I mean, it's like Jesus can turn you on. He's got like the power to do that. And my men told me that when we get turned on, it means, because he experiences vicariously, it means Jesus is turning us on. Because like Zach Knight, when Jesus was eating some of my fried chicken, apparently Jesus got sexually turned on by my fried chicken. And Zach Knight was making love to 13, and he came into 13 while Jesus was eating the fried chicken. And I said, do you know what that? And Zach said, uh-oh, I hope I don't offend Jesus by this. And I said, no, Zach, I don't think you offended Jesus at all. In fact, I think he meant for this to happen. He was borrowing your perfect penis to experience vicariously the sexual turn-on he felt by eating my fried chicken. And Zach said, oh, I'm honored. And I said, yeah, man. I said, this deity is full of surprises. So when you just mysteriously get turned on, Jesus decided to turn you on so that he could experience vicariously through the 11 dimensions, because he's an 11-dimensional lover, the turn-on that he feels. He kind of borrows the sexual activities of his bride. So I think, okay, that's it. That's cool. If that's how he makes love, cool. Yeah, I can live with that. Okay, fine, yeah. That wasn't the end of it. Okay? Yeah, he also posted at my website. Check the community section. That was Jesus who posted that. And he promised, he said, oh, come on. He said, I'm going to be moving into Gail's apartment, but does that mean I'll be having sex with her? Don't be dirty-minded. He wrote that, though he pretended like he was me. It would be easy for Jesus to do that. Over the next couple days, I started noticing I was feeling really turned on. And yeah, he said he had moved into my apartment, and I could sense his presence. And he was communicating with me like through telepathy, kind of telling me what he wanted me to do during the day sometimes. But sometimes he was real quiet. And I said, you know, there's some days he's here, Brent, and I can't even tell. And yeah, Brent said, yeah, he's being like a cat. So he hasn't been the past couple days, though. That was before the hangout, what I call Jesus' sex party. And that's pretty accurate description. I titled the post at my website, Jesus Christ Sex Party, Laurie McBride included. So yes, Laurie has turned good. She is no longer the Antichrist. She's living at Church of Gail, and unfortunately, I've heard that my sister is in the tryouts for Antichrist and maybe the Antichrist now. There are some others, so we don't know. But there's definitely an Antichrist afoot, because when I go outside, I can tell. Yeah, and the brain control's still bad, and we had interesting tornadoes in Alabama today, and yeah, interesting weather patterns. And like when I was at the store, I went to the register, and the register wasn't acting right, and for the first time, two of my cards got rejected. And I looked at my receipt and an extra item. Well, I went to one of those self-checkouts, and I could have swore I rang everything up correctly, and that register seemed to be spooked. It's like it accidentally added in an extra item, and it wouldn't take my cards. It's never happened to me before. I had to call for some help, and they finally said, it looks like it just wouldn't take your cash back, you know. And I was like, that's weird. This has never happened to me before. Yeah. So anyway, so he's been in my apartment and really turning me on. And I just said to Jesus in prayer, you're in my apartment and you're turning me on. You said you weren't going to have sex with me. And I'm feeling really, really turned on. I can say, and Brent will experience vicariously what Jesus is feeling. So if Brent's turned on, I feel it brain to brain. So he's been super turned on. All I can say is, it appears Jesus did a little bit of a white lie. I mean, he didn't really lie. He said he wouldn't be having sex with me in my apartment. But you got to admit, I told Jesus during the sex party, I remember during the sex party, Jesus said, Gail, I have some advice for you. He said, the advice you gave to Laurie McBride, to be true to herself and to dream the impossible dream, is advice you need to follow for yourself. He said, I want you to feel free in your sex life and to not worry what people think. And he said, Brent is secure now. See, I decided to cancel the marriage list because Brent told me he felt upstaged by it. He felt threatened by it. And I was horrified. I didn't know he felt that way. And so I canceled it. And he said, Brent's secure now, so you can do whatever you want. And I said, Jesus, I really think I prefer monogamy. And he didn't really, he just told me, I'm giving you the same advice I gave Laurie McBride. You're no longer, he said, you and Laurie are like sisters in a way. You both grew up believing you were bad girls. And he said, you can help each other a lot right now. Because I told Laurie, you didn't have parents, you weren't really raised by parents, and you were taught that you're bad, and so she's been acting out what everybody believes she is, and she thinks because she's a clone, that clones, because they have fallen angel DNA, cannot be good. But then you got to think about this: fallen angels are angels, right? And only a third of the angels fell. So they had the same DNA as the angels who didn't fall. And I explained that to Laurie in the letter that I think she was going to my site and reading some of the things I was saying about her. Satan was lying to her and telling her that he created her because she has fallen angel DNA. All clones have fallen angel DNA. And I said, that isn't true, Laurie. We all have goodness in us. and we just have to feed it. And I have faith in you. I believe that you don't have to be this ugly woman that Jesus sees you as. So the fact that Jesus made love to her was to reassure her that he now sees her as a beautiful woman. So she's doing well. I mean, she's still struggling with a lot of issues, but she's doing well. So Jesus said, yeah, Gail, I want you to follow the same advice you gave Lori, to dream the impossible dream in your love life. He said, Gail, what do you really want? And I said, I don't even know really who I am, and maybe I'm scared to find out. Like he said, well, you're not alone. And then we got on the subject of, and then I said, you know what? I think I know what I want, Jesus. I want to experience your semen in lovemaking. And then Jesus, all of a sudden, he says, hey, you guys, I think I got to go. He says, I got to go get Gail's apartment ready for our time together. And I thought, what? He took off. They told me he just left the party, went to my apartment, and was making preparations. And I thought, wait a minute. I thought I wasn't going to be having sex with this dude. Well, one time, I misunderstood him. Back in 2012, he told me he'd be giving me and Brent his semen, right? And so the logical conclusion is you're thinking I'm going to be going to bed with this deity because he's giving me his semen. And he explained to me later, he said, no, it doesn't mean that. I won't be bedding you, Gail. He said, I'm just giving you my semen. The one who'll be bedding you will be Brent Spiner. He's the one who's going to be, I'm not going to be your husband. Brent is going to be your husband. But then when you read Gail Commandments 2.0, now he's describing himself as my husband. Because I'm part of his bride, the church. So this deity can sometimes speak in confusing parables. You might say, what happened? He has been making love to me. Not with a 3D body, 11-dimensionally. And kind of like, I don't know, he's got his own method. And I've been saying, and he's really turned on. I mean, I had a conversation with Brent the other day, and I said, Jesus, you lied. You said you weren't going to be making love to me in my apartment. He's actually, the past couple days, he's been talking to me, kind of like he's got a telepathic way of talking. And he said, I didn't really lie, because you haven't seen me 3D, and you haven't seen my body. So I'm making love to you, but yet he turns me on. I can actually feel the turn on, and I can feel when he's turned on. And I thought, Jesus, you must be really crazy about me. You're turned on 24/7. I mean, I can't get anything done. And Brent Spiner was joking and saying, Jesus, can you tone it down a little bit? See, because Brent experiences vicariously what Jesus is feeling. And I actually had some doubts about this. So the other day, I asked Brent, I said, can you tell me how many orgasms that we've had? And because that way I'll know that that he's telling me the truth, that you're telling me the truth, that you're experiencing vicariously what Jesus is doing to me, because right now I'm not sure I'm comfortable doing this to you, Brent. Maybe you're lying to me again and claiming you want the marriage list when you don't want it, even though Jesus assured me this isn't. Sometimes I'm a woman of little faith, And I said, oh, Jesus, he can climax like 87,000 times. I said, a day? I said, what? How can anybody climax that much? How does he get it? He said, well, he says like, I said, I wasn't talking about him. I said, I'm talking about myself. How many times did I climax? They got it right down. They said 4 times. I said, okay, I'm convinced. Because I didn't tell them. They sensed it. because they experience vicariously what Jesus, because Jesus was telling me when he was making love to me, using this kind of weird brain to brain, like it's not really brain to brain, because he's living here, but he's not, it's like an 11D way of doing things. You guys can, I haven't made a post about this one yet. I'm just talking about it. I'm thinking about it, because I'm still mulling this all over in my mind. I'm still not sure how to take this all. But, I had a conversation with on Skype the other day, so apparently it is true. Jesus has been making love to me in my apartment, but not 3D. And he turns me on. I mean, I can actually feel the turn. It's like it comes out of the blue. It just turns me on when he gets turned on. And he said Gail, I'm working on getting you over your sexual hang-ups. He said, you're not being true to yourself because you're too worried about what everybody thinks, and you're repressing your sex drive. That's what he tells me. He's been talking to me a lot. Yeah, he's able to turn us on just like out of the blue. You should read the transcript. It's at my website of our Patreon hangout. He was doing that to everybody. When he gets turned on, like I said, he'll turn people on and experience it vicariously. You might say, what is he like in bed? Oh, this has got to be the hottest lover I have ever encountered in my brain to brain. I mean, I've had Matthew McConaughey, Hugh Jackman, Gerard Butler. I mean, this was like, they all got added in, Vladimir Putin. But Jesus, he is the hottest lover I have ever encountered. And I was fighting when he's like, Jesus, I can't get anything done. You are turning me on all day. And Jesus was saying, well, I'm crazy about you. I said, look, this isn't fair. You don't have to do this, Jesus. I don't expect this of you. And I said, he said, and even Brent was saying, Jesus, can you kind of tone it down a little bit? I need to get some stuff done. It's like, and I talked to Jesus about this. You might say, this sounds very interesting. Why don't you put that post about your transcript? I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it, okay? Anyways, the sad news is I think my sister might be the new Antichrist. As a result of my lovemaking with Jesus, I decided yesterday that I'm going to let him be one of my lovers. I find him very attractive. And Brent said, I decided it because I'm convinced that Brent doesn't have a problem with it. Brent said, if you find a man attractive, I think you should go to bed with him. I said, you can't do that with everyone you feel attracted to. And he said, yeah, but he gets to experience it vicariously along with Jesus. So now I don't feel so bad about it. And he's got Jesus Christ semen. So, yeah. I'm going to tell you. Let me tell you some of the wild stuff Jesus has been telling me. Because I said, Jesus, don't you think you're going a little too far? You say your bride is the church. And yet you keep telling me I'm your wife. And that I need to get over my sexual hang-ups. And he seems to be telling me that whenever, and I said, another thing that surprises me, Jesus, is I never thought this was how you would make love to your bride during the millennial reign. I thought you had like a sort of ether method where your 11-dimensional spirit kind of infused into the bride, that you wouldn't be doing it like the way human males do it. He said, oh, Gail, you don't get it. I like the human male method. It really turns me on. I mean, the way he made love to Lori McBride, you could tell he was really turned on. So I thought, wow, you're more human than I thought you were in the way you approach your lovemaking. I'm really surprised. And he's actually confessed to me that 80% of the time when he makes love to his bride, or when he imagines making love to her, he thinks about me. And he said, sometimes it's 100%, Gail. I said, Jesus, I'm not that special. I'm not that special. It's not fair to the rest of your bride. And he said, Gail, am I not allowed to choose who I want to make love to? See, Satan is the reason, what a lot of people don't realize, the reason Satan rebelled, and the Bible doesn't go deep into this, and I think it's because Jesus wanted to wait till I came along to discuss this, and I've been discussing this with my Patreon supporters. They get to hear all the goody, nitty-gritty stuff. The reason Satan rebelled, Satan is gay, and he wanted Jesus to be like his bride or his gay lover, and Jesus turned him down because Jesus thinks Satan is ugly. You got to understand, Jesus sees us 11-dimensionally. Oh, and during the hangout, I transformed into the most beautiful, gorgeous woman, and they were all getting turned on by me. And apparently that's how Jesus sees me. They said, Gail, you look like a model. You are the most gorgeous, drop-dead gorgeous person we've ever seen. And I'm thinking, really? They said, it's no wonder Jesus is so turned on. This is how he sees you. Jesus said, Gail, he said, you are the most beautiful of my creation. And I want to make love to you all the time. And I thought, but Jesus, what about the rest of your bride? I mean, like Hudson Taylor, J. David Livingstone, your apostles and disciples. I mean, what's wrong with them? He said, well, they're in the 20%. I think of you 80% of the time, they're in the 20%. I said, yeah, but I think they should get more than 20%. Some of them were martyrs, some of them did all sorts of things. And he said, Gail, I just think you're the most beautiful of my creation, and I get to choose who I want to make love to, and Satan cannot tell me who I can make love to. And he said, I've chosen you. I thought, wow. I said, Jesus, you don't have to do this. I said, I'm going to tell you, the thought of making love to God horrifies me. And Jesus said, you know what, Gail, you really hurt my feelings. I thought, really? This means a lot to you, doesn't it? Anyways, I haven't posted this conversation, but I'm talking about it. I probably will on my website. I probably should. I think the world's going to find it fascinating. I may post it. I've been busy. I had to do grocery shopping today, and I have to make a video, but you guys need to go to my website and check out the posts. This deity is full of surprises. You might say, so you've made a lot of love to him in the past couple days. What have you decided? Like I said, I've decided he's going to be my lover. And he loves it. He said, this is really important to me, Gail. He said, you're one of the reasons I created the universe. And he even admitted that when he was dying on the cross, he thought of me the most to help him get through it. Oh, and by the way, Jesus bought this ring, and it's worth millions of dollars, and I know why now. So it's been a wild ride. Anyways, if you want to you might want to join my Patreon and get in on some of these interesting hangouts we've been having. So all I can say is, you might say, so how do you feel about Jesus? I love him. And I hope my sister's not the Antichrist. If so, I'm very disappointed in her. I've actually made a post to try to discourage her from becoming the Antichrist because she's in the tryouts for it. Sister, if you're listening to me, if you become the Antichrist, I'm going to completely cut you off. I mean, I pretty much cut you off already. I mean, I don't send anything to you. I don't communicate with you because I don't trust you. And if you become the Antichrist, I'm going to completely cut you off. You aren't going to be getting anything from me. No Christmas cards, no nothing. How dare you do this to Jesus? How dare you do this? How dare you side with Satan to oppose true love? I will completely cut you off. I will have nothing to do with you. Anyways, let's pray that we can reach my sister. If she is the Antichrist, I've actually asked Jesus to put her in the lake of fire if she decides to become the Antichrist. I created a post to try to, because I believe that her punishment, if she decides to become the Antichrist, is that she's going to get to have Satan as her lover, and he will be abusing her in the lake of fire. Yeah, check out the post. Satan's not a very nice lover. Like I said, he was beating up Lori McBride. That's one of the reasons she came over to our side. You might say, do you think Jesus is going to put your sister in the lake of fire? I think he's waiting to see if she decides to become the Antichrist. We did have a non-interference agreement between me and Satan back in 2012 when I got fooled by Zach Knight when he was bad, and he actually impregnated me with devil's semen. And so Jesus said, I'm going to have a non-interference agreement between me and Satan and the Antichrist. But apparently that's off, because now that my IQ has jumped over 10,000, and this also includes my husband Brent Spiner and Zach Knight at 13, Satan can't fool me anymore as a lover. And Jesus realized, and besides, Satan has been violating the non-interference agreement. He's been doing all sorts of stuff in violation of it. So that's why Jesus, I think the non-interference agreement is off, which means that Jesus can do more stuff, and because Satan's doing more stuff. He can deal with me more directly. I mean, he's living in my apartment, so it's definitely off. Which means, if my sister does decide to become the Antichrist, Jesus might very well put her in the lake of fire. I don't think he likes it that his lover, or his favorite, has a sister who's the Antichrist. See, Satan would like that because Satan has a beef with Jesus because Satan hates the human race. Satan is very angry that Jesus rejected him as a gay lover. And he's trying to prove to Jesus that he's more worthy to be Jesus' lover than the human race. You can say, well, it sounds like you're his lover. It's really complicated. His bride is the church, okay? His bride is the church, but I'm his favorite in the bride. And he thinks about me the most when he makes love to his bride. Obviously, he's not just making love to me because he made love to Brent Spiner, Lori McBride. I mean, so I'm his favorite in the bride. He thinks about me the most, though, when he makes love to his bride. And he's a deity, so he can kind of like make love to a whole bunch of people all at once, vicariously. But he told me, sometimes, Gail, I'm in the mood just to have you because you're my favorite. And he said, if you were not somebody that I could make love to, he said, I wouldn't even be interested in doing it. You're that important to me. That's what he told me. And I thought, this is blowing my mind, Jesus. He said, yeah. And Satan knows that. That's why he's trying to destroy you. Because he thinks you're the number one obstacle to being my lover. And he says, but basically, I just think Satan is ugly, and I don't want him. Just like I thought Lori McBride was ugly before she got right. So, Satan is determined to prove to Jesus that he's worthy to be Jesus' gay lover. And he considers me the number one obstacle to that, for obvious reasons now. You might say, oh, this deity is super turned on by me. I mean, like 85,000 orgasms a day when he makes love to me. I asked my men, how is this possible? They said, he's a deity. He's found a way to do it. From what I understand, he's been walking around my apartment naked. He has ejaculated all over my apartment, and it glows brilliant white. He's a character, man. And he's not a cock blocker. But he's not gay. But yet, he made love to Brent Spiner. But he said no homo while he was doing it. I said, explain that to me, Jesus. He said, well, when I made love to him, I was imagining I was making love to you. And I thought, what? He said, but I was kind of making love to Brent too. And I said, what? He said, yeah, because you're my favorite. That's why I gave Brent my semen. Because I can experience it vicariously with Brent when he's making love to you, and he's your husband that I picked for you. And I also put a lot of myself in Brent. So it's been very interesting, folks. Anyways, I'm probably going to post my latest conversations with my men about what it's like to make love to Jesus. They said, you said he wouldn't do that. That's what I thought. And I even got on him about this. I said, Jesus, you're a liar. He said, I didn't really lie because I don't show up 3D. You say, so what is his personality like? You know, you guys, you just need to go to my website. It's really hard to describe him. He's complicated. He's got a real good sense of humor. He's very direct. He doesn't waste any time. He's just, and he's rather charming sometimes. I'm really surprised. He's been coming across charming in the apartment. He's charming, direct, extremely passionate, and yet sometimes he'll be real quiet and give me a lot of space. Yeah. And he loves me very deeply, I can tell. Like the other day, he was helping me out. I said, Jesus, I've run out of food and I can't go grocery shopping today because we got a flood watch. He said, I'm going to help you. Let's go to the kitchen. He said, you got leftovers here you can use. He said, I want you to forget about that low FODMAP diet and eat this, eat this, eat this. And I was able to make some food to tide me over. And then today, he cleared the weather for me so that I was able to go shopping. I thought that we were going to have horrible flooding today. I was able to go in the morning. And then it rained horrible in the afternoon, and now it's cleared up again. You might say, so all I can say is, you might say, which movie do you think portrays him the most accurately? It's kind of hard to say. I think Bill O'Reilly's movie, Killing Jesus, portrays him pretty accurately. He's kind of like a blend between Bill O'Reilly's movie, Killing Jesus, and Jesus Christ Superstar. Yeah. The two characters and the way he comes across. He's very personable. He smiles a lot, and he has a sense of humor. And when he makes love, he's very passionate. Very passionate. Yeah, man. This guy doesn't do anything half-hearted. So, anyways, go check out my website, and I appreciate all of my Patreon supporters. And as you can see, they're getting quite a treat. So, we've had some very interesting meetings. Very interesting meetings.